So Mayor Eric Adams joined me this weekend on Picks on Politics. It was his first sit-down and only interview since the FBI raided the home of a top fundraiser and longtime confidant, Brianna Suggs. A focus of the investigation now, whether the Adams campaign has ties to the Turkish government.
If anyone did something that's inappropriate outside of our compliance procedures, the law enforcement agencies will determine that. This is new and evolving, and we're going to comply 100%. I have not been contacted by any law enforcement agency, and no law enforcement agency has determined that anyone associated with our campaign did anything wrong.
So what fallout, if any, could the mayor face from these allegations?
Joining us now is attorney and former president of the New York City Board of Elections, J.C. Polanco. So good to see you. Welcome to Picks 11 Morning News.
So good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into this and begin with what this means overall, right? An investigation into the mayor's campaign and illegal contributions rushing back from D.C. Does it make him look guilty? What do you make of the initial response?
Well, it shouldn't make him look guilty. He hasn't been indicted. He hasn't been mentioned as someone that's a suspect in any way whatsoever. And we have to remember that the mayor has 325,000 people that work for him. Tons of judges he's appointed and commissioners, and we're looking at one bad apple in the administration that has found himself in a predicament. Quite frankly, I don't know of any organization on earth that doesn't have an issue of inefficiency or the bad apple that we refer to, from the police department to teachers to you name it, to the fire department. I mean, even to your own building where you live, there's a bad apple. But having said that, this is a wake-up call for the mayor. I mean, you're running in a campaign where you have a city that has you under the microscope, a city press that has you under the microscope. You have a political party that you're not exactly aligned with right now. You're a centrist in a party that's becoming even more and more progressive. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's time to really do an inventory of everyone around you, of all of the practices, and see what can we improve? What can I do now so that it doesn't become a problem later on, and tackle it head on? Because I promise you this, no matter how hard you're working, no matter what you're doing for the city, you're going to have inefficiencies. You're going to have people that are going to put you in this position where you're going to have to answer these questions to Pix 11 when they bring you on your show. So do an inventory immediately and take action.
Yeah, but it's important to note, though, it's an alleged bad apple, right? I mean, because the mayor himself, Brianna Suggs, and there's no one from the campaign that's been arrested or charged, right? So what about campaign financing? What is exactly at stake here? Because optics aren't good right now.
You're not supposed to take any money from foreign nationals, period. That's it. The accusations here that there's an investigation as to whether or not the campaign took money from foreign officials, and what were the actions by those that were entrusted in the campaign to have a fiduciary duty to taxpayers in New York City and the mayor. The mayor has not been implicated in any way, but we know that there are people in the campaign that have. We know that there are others that have gotten themselves in an issue where now they're in the crosshairs of the federal government. I mean, you know, it rises to an allegation, as you mentioned, Hazel, but quite frankly, let's do an inventory, Mayor Adams. Come on. You know, look and see where there is an inefficiency. Where is there something that can put you in a predicament where you can lose in a primary? You got to remember, this is going to be a ranked choice vote in the primary very soon. And if a lot of this happens, even if it's alleged, it takes a toll on your reputation. So it's important that you come out forefront and come out head on and address these issues. Happen.
So then, JC, let me talk about that, because like we said, his only sit-down was here on Pix 11. He's canceled events. He's canceled appearances. He's not holding a media briefing tomorrow, citing it's election day. So what is the strategy here if you were advising him? Some might say the best defense is always a good offense.
Yeah, you know, I'm not on the campaign. I'm not his PR person, but I will tell you this. It is very important for the mayor right now, especially with New York City media, to be upfront, to come out head on, like you mentioned, to go aggressive and explain why you had to come back. It's clear the mayor had to turn around. When you have your campaign CFO, if you will, had her apartment searched by the FBI, now the focal point when you go to Washington to speak with other mayors and the president is the story back home. The idea of that you're going to speak to folks to get money to help us with the migrant crisis that is hurting our budget is ridiculous. No one's going to be paying attention to you. Everybody's going to want to ask what happened back home. So the strategy there, I understand it. I mean, it's tough to deal with, but pulling back seems to have been the decision that was right at the time in order to avoid any controversy over his discussions. Perhaps, in hindsight being 2020 and Monday morning quarterbacking that decision, it may not have been the best decision considering the migrant crisis in New York City, the shortfall in money that we have in New York, and the fact that he turned around was the story, as you mentioned.
Yeah, well, it's much to be determined from here on out. Thank you, J.C. Polanco, for your time this morning. We always appreciate you.